back from our break. We took quite a bit of a break from recording. We had the holidays going on. There were
some family emergency
yeah,
stuff going on.
all sorts of stuff going on. So we decided to take a break, regroup. But now we're back, better than ever. As you can see,
our faces.
yeah, as you can see. You can see our faces. We also have better sound setup too.
Yeah.
So we'll just apologize now for the fact that it sounded not so great. We were using USB mics, which
Listen, we were learning. Will was gracious enough to finally have a mental break and be like, for the love of God, enough. Let me show you how this could sound so much better.
Yeah, like what, 11 episodes in, he's like, I can't take it anymore. I can't.
So not only are we recording with better equipment, but I know we had discussed for a while now, I think at the beginning of this whole spiel to do video.
Yeah.
So we finally made that happen. And also new is that we have some friends helping us out introducing upcoming episodes.
Yes, we do. Where did we even run into them?
I mean, I know I ran into Babson when it was a drunken haze.
Yeah.
So
imagine.
drinks were had. I think I may have asked to use her bathroom at some point, but how we made it back to her loft, I don't know.
What did you do with the loft? That's the question.
I don't know.
Like I said, haze, I guess.
Just complete haze.
Marge, that was it was like a weird improv night one night, and she has been trying to rekindle her youth and what she felt as a child, all the stuff. It was also a drunken stupor where I met her. I'm trying to make stuff up. I don't know. Oh, we were drunk.
I do know that improv. It definitely did start with a night out with improv, which is how all four of us met.
Yeah.
And then I think we kind of went our separate ways. I know by shot 5, I wander and I get really drunk.
You do.
And that's all I remember.
I'm not allowed to have shots anymore.
No.
That was a separate story. But anyway.
But they were lucky enough the next morning to have their wits about them to kind of know what happened and reached out to us and wanted to help us out with the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be seeing them at least once a week, helping us out with things. So it's taking a little bit of a burden off of us, and it gives you some more viewing pleasures.
Yes, and they're characters. Characters. Unscripted, people. Can you believe it?
Us have our shit together? No.
Wow. No. You know, it's like polishing a turd at this point.
I think we put all of our energy, or you put all of your energy. I just fucking sat here and watched you do it, setting this whole thing up.
You did just sit there.
I did. Just, I don't know what I'm doing, and I feel like less is more.
Maybe. It might have been a too many cooks in the kitchen kind of situation.
Will was here to supervise.
Yeah.
You
but
know?
He was like, here, you're going to learn. I'm like, okay, if I stick something in the wrong spot, then you're going to be the one that's going to be sorry for it.
And it's like every first sexual experience. Just stick it in the hole. We'll figure it out later.
I wish that weren't true.
I know.
Oh my god, getting blitzkrieged in the ass.
But those are some upcoming things that you can expect to see from us this year. And I know we had wanted to start off our first episode of 2020 on kind of like a lighter note and like fun material.
Mm-hmm.
So it was suggested to do, since we did MCU versus DC. Or
yes,
rather, it wasn't
Marvel versus
Marvel, yeah.
DC, yeah.
So we decided to specifically do the MCU
yeah.
Versus LucasFilms, which when I start to think about it, I don't really have an argument on which is per se better.
Me personally, I don't think that you can compare the two because they're not really meant to be compared. They're two complete, like one is sci-fi and the other one's comic book.
Right.
And I know that like they have elements that kind of like overlap.
Yeah.
But it was I just don't think you can compare them. But like Star Wars was like they started that back in the 70s, late 70s, and
77, yeah.
um MCU, which stands for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, started with
It's technically started after 2007, 2008 with the Iron Man, because eventually what they wanted to do was have their own rights and go creative power essentially, like
oh yeah, yeah.
with their character. So they were the s- second company to break off and have their own studio. I think
Mhm.
DreamWorks was the first to do it.
Yeah.
And so I mean, eventually the mouse got him anyways. Doesn't really matter, but yeah,
The mouse
they
gets
were
everyone.
yeah, it's goddamn monopoly.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were the first to be like, I have a plan, long-term plan, fucking 22 movies later. So I think at some point after, I think Iron Man and maybe the Hulk, like after the first couple of movies, they were like, for this to work the way they wanted it to work, they had to break away from Fox and Sony.
Yeah.
And that's when they created the MCU.
Yeah.
Um,
Which thank God they did though,
yeah.
because like it actually ended up being like a really cool, like all these different um directors and creative minds kind of came together to.
I think when I was looking it up, it was 17 different directors
Wow.
for 22 movies. Now, obviously, like Joss Whedon did Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Um, the Russo brothers did several. Like there was a couple of people who did two or more films they
Yeah.
directed, but yeah, out of the 22 span movies,
Mm-hmm.
there were 17 different directors.
Which I think is a pretty good average. Oh, not average, but like them's good numbers.
I think it's hard, like when you have that many movies, to have like 1 to 3 directors or 1 to 2
Yeah, I think
directors.
it would be a
Just
huge undertaking for just, a few people.
yeah,
But the fact that they had that many directors and they all kind of like were able to intertwine them in like a way that eventually ended up being like, oh, cool, like all the different Easter eggs that you can find in all the different movies.
yes,
Like that's cool. Like they all had this overarching, excuse me, like storyline that they wanted to like entangle into other ones and everything, and that I thought was really cool. And then that was kind of like the shitty thing with Star Wars. I mean, trust me, I do love Star Wars and I do love the MCU, but like with Star Wars, the original trilogy, I think most people can agree that that's everyone's kind of like favorite
yeah.
trilogy. And then the prequel trilogy, I think a lot of people, I'll try not to generalize too much, but a lot of people did not care for the prequel trilogy.
I didn't. I didn't. Well, all right. So I think just in general, and I know there was reasons behind this. I think, but the fact that you had the first trilogy in 77, the second one came out in, I think maybe 80, and the last one 83,
Yeah, and it was
and
also
then
that trilogy was also it was 4, 5, and 6, not
right,
1, 2, and 3.
right,
So
which obviously was intended. I mean, I think like
yeah,
Lucas knew what he was obviously doing. Because I know talking to a couple of like major Star Wars fans, I think some of the reason why is he wanted to wait for technology to catch up to be able to do the special effects and everything that he had wanted to do.
yeah,
Which I know, like in the first trilogy for the 70s and 80s, special effects that he did do
were really
was,
really cool.
yeah, I
So
mean that was
it, a
huge.
lot of miniatures and stuff like that, and that was like at the time was like Jesus fuck.
Yeah, but you had, Chris, well over 10 years between like the first trilogy of, and then the prequels. Like there's a huge
Oh,
gap.
like there were more than a decade because it was
Yeah, no, as I said, like, yeah, over a decade because it was 83 was the last movie, and then 99 was when Phantom Menace was that
yeah,
the
yeah,
first one
yes,
of the
Phantom
okay.
Menace.
So it's like math 15
16
years,
years.
16 years, yeah.
What was it, 83 to 99?
Yeah,
Yeah, 16.
I can't math well.
So almost 20 years later for the
Prequel,
prequel trilogy to come along, and then
10 years.
yeah,
Yeah, it was 10 years between that one and then the last 3 that they just came out. But and that, I don't know, I didn't like visually how they did the prequel films
yeah,
at all.
felt like they were just abusing CGI,
Oh yeah.
but not like Cats the movie. Um, that's a different kind of abuse. But this was like all these huge, like, um, I mean, I guess in a way they wanted to show all these different planets and stuff like that. But it was kind of like you could have done that on a set
Yeah.
instead of
Just
like,
green screen everything.
yeah, like I don't. Did the actors interact with anything real?
Aside for each other, probably not.
Yeah, but that was, I don't know. That I feel like the prequel trilogy did um other than didn't do a lot of good for a lot of people's careers. Well, Hayden Christensen was meh after that.
Yeah. Huh.
The kid, he fucking like because of the abuse that he'd gotten from the Star Wars fans, because Star Wars fans are the fans that hate Star Wars the most.
Yeah. No, they are by far the worst fandom. That's sad. There was literally no pleasing them.
Yeah,
You could
but
let them write the script and direct it, and they'd still hate it.
yeah. So, but that kid got so much hate that he was just like, fuck everything to do with movie business. He wanted to be like so far like from Star Wars and anything that had to do with Star Wars that he was just like, I just want to get away from it. I'm pretty sure he fucking hates Star Wars fans because of that.
I
And I
don't
don't
blame
blame
him.
him.
No, not at all. But yeah, I mean, Natalie Portman's
Well, yeah,
Natalie Portman,
she
like,
was I think she was fine before and
yeah.
after. Ewan McGregor obviously is fine before and after. Liam Neeson obviously
Well,
fucking
fucking
Liam
Liam
Neeson.
Neeson. Yeah.
Um and but there were all right, I take back my statement.
Yeah, I was
There
gonna
were two
say, I'm like,
people
there's
that it didn't
Samuel
do
Jackson's in there. He's always been fine.
two people that did not do so well with their careers.
Yeah.
Um after
I
that.
like I said, I think they casted it fine. Just like you said, visually. I just think as far as CGI had come and special effects had come, I think they just went, "Ah, this is fucking amazing," and they just went overboard with it.
Yeah, they went balls to the wall with it. Just whatever they could CGI, they CGI'd, which I feel like that's got to be way more expensive than just building sets, right?
I mean, I don't know. You would think. I know. I don't know. I have no clue because I don't know how much time and effort goes into editing CGI.
A lot.
Right, but then at the same time, though, watched a couple documentaries and seen people build sets, and that can be just as time consuming and expensive as well. And I would imagine you have
Yeah.
more staff that's involved with that, I would think.
Maybe it's a six of one, half a dozen of the other, and they
Yeah.
just figured, like, let's just go whole ham on CG and just do it to it.
Yeah.
I just-
But I mean, I think though, I think there's something to be said though about the nostalgia of Star Wars, the fact that you had 16 years in between movies and it still did fantastic. And then you had another 10 years and the last three still did fantastic. Like, everybody wanted to see it. Fucking tickets sell out weeks in advance.
Yeah.
You know, so and I know they were saying it's merchandise wise is the best
Merchandise.
merchandise wise.
No, it's the Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Merchandise.
The fact that it had its own spoof movie.
Yes, like oh my god. So that if you've not seen Spaceballs, go fucking watch it because it's really good.
When will then be now?
Soon. Oh, may the force be with you.
But I mean, I think there's something to be said as far as how strong the fan base is, and I think that nostalgia feeling of it. You know, I think probably almost each generation could sit there with their kids and be like, "Oh my god, we got to go see Star Wars. That was my favorite film as a kid."
Yeah.
And you know, so it's just those kind of memories I think that are passed down, which eventually, you know, the MCU will have the same. You know, it'll be kind of the same thing, but.
Yeah.
I don't think many franchises would have been as popular and would have survived that massive of gap, you know, release date wise, to still come back and still be the juggernaut that it was.
Yeah, well, plus like not even between like just those movies, but they had the TV shows, the animated TV shows that ran between, like there was the Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels and stuff like that. Like they those were hugely popular as well.
Yeah.
And plus the movies in between the most recent trilogy, like Rogue One, did really really well.
My favorite.
Solo not so much, but I still
Eh,
enjoyed Solo. Because I like origin stories, so
yeah,
I liked hearing about that. But because like they had all the original books, the Star Wars books that came out before Disney bought it, that were canon, but now are not.
right.
So now what's part of the Star Wars canon is like the movies, I think the animated shows, yes,
I think so, yeah.
and the movies, the Star Wars stories in between the most recent trilogy,
Right.
yes. But I think everything else is no longer canon. Like the books that came out pre Disney are no longer canon.
Hmm.
Books since, yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I know, like, you and I have discussed before when we were discussing, like, Marvel versus DC,
Mhm.
for us, there's some, like, nostalgia in there as far as which ones that we watch cartoon wise or read comics, like, as a kid and, like, spend time with family with it. But I know when they re-released A New Hope, and I don't remember if they did all three. I know they did A New Hope.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? Like, late 90s? But I remember, though, like, my dad was super excited, so he got me all pumped up, and they were screening it at the Senator Theater in Baltimore on a
Yeah.
school night. Said, "Let me go out on a school night." But I mean, like, my mom got me like this pretty awesome like Princess Leia costume, did my hair up in the buns, and
Were
I
you
just
Slave Leia?
no, I was a
Okay,
child.
making sure that it was not that. I was gonna be like, Anita, we need to talk.
What kind of childhood did you think I had?
I
I
don't
know,
know.
no, it's questionable. No, 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 it was just like the white
The white
dress thing that
with
she
the
wore. Yeah, with the hood.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Did you wear cinnamon buns?
oh yeah,
Yes.
had my hair up in the buns, and I remember being so excited to go see that, and then I insisted on sleeping in those buns so I could wear them to school the next day.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm just picturing baby Jess. It's adorable.
it's okay. So I mean, it definitely, like I said, nostalgia wise, like that's a memory that I will always have.
Yeah.
Which is just special to me, and I think a lot of Star Wars fans can probably relate to some extent
Hmm.
on those kind of experiences. Which again, like I think it ingrains the fandom and the movie experience even more.
Yeah, I think like that plays a huge. It's like I feel like for me, I don't. There's not much that can beat nostalgia,
Yeah,
and that's kind of unfortunately why like so many people are like cashing in on it. Um, because there a lot of people will get something just purely based on nostalgia.
right.
Like any all the 90s stuff is coming back and people are going to buy it just because like, "Oh my god, that reminds me of like when I was a kid and happier, simpler time."
Yeah.
And, just that it kind of will in a way bring back that feeling of like when things were less complicated and everything, and that's what it was growing up with Star Wars. Like
Yeah. I just
that's
I wonder with the MCU, because I guess the MCU like kind of had this crazy think tank behind it of this is where I want the story to go and this is how they're all going to line up, which I is what makes it so freaking amazing is that they were able to do that and get the same actors for the most part to like buy in.
what other than Hulk.
Another, yeah,
Yeah.
but to buy into this and to keep no Hawk and War Machine.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who left? Don Cheadle?
huh?
Who left? Don Cheadle? Or he
Um,
stayed?
no. Oh my god, what's his name? It's right on the tip of my tongue. He does that show
That
about the
show.
music recording Empire. He does Empire now.
Oh, Iron Man. We have Terrence Howard.
Yes. No, it was like it starts with a T.
I would not have remembered.
And I don't think the first Hulk was even that was a part of the MCU, right? Because there's the two Hulk movies.
Edward Norton was part of it,
Right.
but there was Eric Bana and there was Edward Norton,
Okay.
and then it was Mark Ruffalo.
Right. Yeah.
But, like, I love me some Edward Norton, but I do love Mark Ruffalo.
I think yeah.
He did like he's my faves.
And I think aside for them, leaving, I just the fact that they were able to kind of hold together all these actors to continue to reprise these roles for so long
Yeah.
was really impressive. But I don't know though if they try to pull the same thing that Star Wars did as far as like releasing 3 movies and then waiting fucking over a decade and then re-releasing it, like if they would have had, oh yes, I've been waiting for this for so long. Like,
I think if they, well, okay, because they had like all these different stories intertwined,
mm-hmm.
like they did Endgame and everything. I think if they were to do something like how they're continuing all the MCU
Yeah.
universes, like I don't know, because the storytelling it's told differently. Like I don't know if they even could, even though based on popularity, it probably would do something like that. But I don't know. You'd have to see well in another 10 years
All right.
because there were people that didn't even really watch a lot of the Marvel movies that were like, oh my god, Endgame, like I want to see that.
Yeah.
And they're like, do I have to watch all the movies? Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. And then they were like, fuck that.
They're like, why? Why? I'm like, well, because it's a culmination of all of these different stories. You have to watch them.
You're not going to get, I mean, I guess you could watch like Infinity War.
Yeah, but
And then,
like,
but it's not going to be the same. Like, you're not going to get that appreciation. It's not going to have
yeah,
that impact.
the significance is not going to be there.
No.
And like, I don't know. The storytelling is completely different between the two of them. So I don't even think that you can compare them doing something like
No.
what Star Wars did.
And I think as far as Star Wars, I mean, like we're supposed to be discussing Lucasfilms, and everyone's just like Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
Hey,
Like that's your like that was I love Indiana Jones.
I don't really like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but
no, I'm not saying that after a while it didn't lack.
it was just
Listen, in every
The Last
franchise, there's
Crusade
always
is
that
the
one.
best one.
Absolutely.
Fight me on that. Anyone who says differently.
What is your argument?
For why it's the best one
Yeah.
ever? Sean Connery.
That's it.
Also, well, just like the story in general, I feel like because there's that argument that like with Raiders of the Lost Ark that if Indiana Jones wasn't in the movie, the movie wouldn't be any different.
Right. Right.
Which I think is funny. But it's still that one's still good. But I can quote The Last Crusade because I've seen it so often, and the story I think is the best out of all three of them. Like Temple of Doom is interesting.
Yeah.
But and it has what, Short Round or whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Last Crusade, the story was good. And still involved Nazis, but in a different way. And the Holy Grail.
Right. Yeah.
And he chose poorly. It's so good. We named the dog Indiana. Come on.
I don't know, like I said, I mean, obviously Star Wars is his bread and butter and is now the mouse's bread and butter. But I think a lot of people forget about Indiana Jones, and I mean, those movies were freaking amazing, and thankfully, because it continued, I think, to progress Harrison Ford's career as well.
Well, I think what came out? Star Wars came out first, right? And then from Star Wars, that's where George Lucas is like, I gotta get me that
Guy again.
He's gotta come back. And that was, like you said, just he kept on the upward trajectory on that.
Yep. I don't know. I just, like I said, I think some of the other stuff that Lucas has done is so overshadowed.
Well, yeah. Because, I don't know, Star Wars was just such a... I think because of the time it came out and the impact that it had on so many people, it was just...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, people... Sci-fi. So many people love sci-fi so much.
I was going to say, because, like, so the MCU kind of already had this in, right? So they took characters that were already created via the comic books, via the Marvel and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby had just made it what it is.
Yeah.
So they made it. So they kind of had their pick of the litter.
Mhm.
They had their pick of the litter and was a little bit, I don't want to say easy because that feat was not easy whatsoever, but they didn't make these characters from scratch.
No.
Where Lucas did, but I don't think so. They kind of had an idea of like
What about sex? Success?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You just kept saying sex, and I'm like,
I'm like, this isn't right. Why are you fucking this up so bad?
what word was I trying to say earlier that I literally couldn't?
Character?
Character. I was, why? Anyway, sex.
No. No.
Success.
Yes. I know, I've lost my train of thought.
They took already made characters and
Oh, no, I was saying, so they kind of already had,
they're building off the success
right, yeah, but
of
it's,
the
yeah,
comics.
so they kind of had a little bit of an idea, and I think investors kind of had a little bit more, they were a little bit more comfortable,
Mhm.
I'm sure, wanting to invest in this, knowing that this would probably take off. I don't think they envisioned it taking off as well as it did, and I don't think anybody really sits down and is like, yeah, it's gonna be the fucking best. We're gonna make muku bucks off. Like, probably not.
Yeah.
But with Star Wars, though, I mean, they had no clue.
Yeah, no, that
No
was,
clue.
and I think that's kind of what's really endearing about Star Wars is that it was George Lucas with this these worlds, a story that he had.
There's this huge imagination on his
Yeah,
own.
and
Yeah.
then even just like the making of Star Wars had to do with like, you know, imagination.
Right.
And it's like that's kind of what I love about art and what drives people to create their art. And there you could tell how much passion was put in to all of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like the detail that went into the miniatures to make like to do the special effects. That's a lot of time and effort and no one does that for just for shits.
No.
You know?
No.
They do it because they have a passion and a drive to do so. And I think that clearly showed in the original trilogy. And I think that's kind of what made it have that lasting effect and what made people want to build on it.
Right.
And that's, I think that's what keeps bringing people back to Star Wars. This has such a rich history. It has such a rich, like, fantasy world that you can keep building off of. And the storyline, you knew that there was more to it. You knew that there was more stuff to build off of, and I think that that's why people kept going back to it. Same thing with like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Like there's all this shit that you can build off of, and that was just like Tolkien. I know you
I'll
don't
eventually
know.
watch it. I'll eventually watch it. I promise. Sometime in 2020. I'll watch it.
We're going to record us watching it just so that
I'll eventually watch it.
uh-huh.
I'll get around to it. Whatever.
You don't just get around to Lord of the Rings.
So is there like some special prepping I need to fucking do to watch this movie? Movies?
Get a better attitude, that's for fucking sure.
I can't just pull that out of my ass. You should know that by now.
Anyway,
This dude comes with a package. You love.
back to our original discussion. We're breaking up again.
You fucking kidding me?
Nope. See, now I can see the argument happening.
You're gonna come back in like an hour. I don't know why you do these empty threats.
They're not empty.
They're empty like my dead heart.
That's true. You bitch. Anywhoozle. Rich history, Star Wars. That's why people keep coming back. That was my argument.
Yeah. No, and I agree. And like you said, I think that kind of passion and 100% just imagination. This is something that this is something that I want to do shows in filmmaking. And I mean, again, not to say that didn't come through with the MCU. Obviously, it did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they had enough passion to want to break away and have their own artistic rights and keep those rights by
Mhm.
creating the MCU. And I don't think a lot of people who are huge fans of it, like they say MCU, they're like, oh, they're just talking about like the collective of movies. And I'm like, no, no, like it's legit their own studio.
Yeah.
So to have, I mean, you do have to have a lot of passion, I think, to see this out. Of
Mhm.
like, I have a vision for this. I know exactly where I want it to go, and I'm willing to kind of tear down the atypical walls of Hollywood to be able to do that.
Mhm.
Which I think was again very, very impressive. And I know there was a couple times some of the actors were like, I don't want to keep doing this fucking role. And I don't know what they did to keep them in it, but I mean, thankfully they did. And I
Well,
know we've discussed this before. Like, I think after Endgame, I know they have like a phase 4 and they have plans for where they want this
mhm.
to go, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah. Well, I think because just like with like you're saying, certain actors like they're like, I don't want to keep doing this for fucking ever
Yeah.
because you will. It's a little bit different than when people work on TV shows for like years, but like they're working on these characters. And for some of them, it was for 10 years. It's
Yeah.
just between other projects as they were working on other stuff, but like you're doing one movie for several months, and for what like Chris Evans had to keep up looking like Captain America for fucking 10 years.
Right.
And I'm not sure like he probably you know I don't know if he would just be like, all right, I'm turning into fat Captain America now. Like,
Give me the
but
donuts.
um, but I think he was one of the ones that he wanted to leave sooner
Yeah. So
than.
they did, and they kind of broke their secrecy by like telling him this is what is going to happen to Captain America, and this is how we're going to end the story.
Yeah,
And I guess that was kind of one of the only reasons where he's like, I got to see this through. Like, I really like that.
yeah, and I think they probably did that to other actors as well. Like
Right.
they are under contract to do a certain number of movies. Like when they originally signed on to do these characters, they were
Sure.
under contract to do a certain number. And I think once they met that number, it might not have been where they'd ended the storyline of that character,
Right.
and that's why they were like, "Hey, Chris."
Please
Yeah,
don't fuck this up.
yeah, but I am glad that they were able to keep all the majority of the original characters throughout those
Yeah.
years, and it is going to be very different. And I just I think to some degree they would still, in a way, bring him back, except for Iron Man, because he did.
Yeah. I feel like there's going to be, I mean, aside for Loki, I think we all have like a sneaky suspicion on how they're going to bring Loki back. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have some of the characters that just they gone. But I feel like with phase 4, and I know there's been some talk on like where it's leading up to and like the big movie, kind of like Infinity Wars and Endgame or the Avengers.
Yeah.
I just don't have that feeling yet. And I kind of feel like these are all just like little side stories that aren't really
Mhm.
amounting to anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's the different feel where like throughout this whole journey, we kind of had an idea of this is building up to something big and this is building up to like just have that finality to it.
Yeah.
So now I kind of like, I guess what I don't want it to turn into, we're just going to keep making Marvel movies for money, like just for the sake of doing them because it's popular.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, like phases 1 through 3, I mean, with the Infinity Stones, like they were brought up throughout all the different movies, and you didn't really catch on fully until like what years down the line. They're like, oh, okay, this is definitely building up to something. This
Right.
is phase 4 is almost like the start of a new trilogy of phases in a way, where like
Yeah.
you can kind of see that it's like we're not there to where we're going to see it building up to anything. It's just the beginning
Right. That's
of a
fair.
new storyline.
Right.
And now that they have Disney Plus and they can do like TV shows as well as movies and stuff like that, they have all these different avenues to do it. Like, but it's only the beginning, so it's that's why we can't really see where it's going now, and we can't
Right.
probably compare it to phases 1 through 3 because that involved characters that we a lot of characters that we probably don't have access to anymore.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I think I would have been okay with it just to end with Endgame.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, because like I said, I don't think there's anything worse than dragging something out.
Yeah, but
Like,
when would movie companies ever just put a cow out to pasture?
that's fair.
When that cow can still be milked.
I don't know. It's just, I mean, I hate to bring it up because I love Supernatural, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, when your own show starts to joke.
Well, they're making meta jokes about everything. But you know what? I think because of that, though, they make you feel like you're more a part of the show instead of just watching a show, if that makes sense.
I think it does, and I think when a show or series acknowledges probably what everyone's thinking,
Hmm.
it kind of softens the blow a little bit,
Yeah. And they can, you know,
kind of reel you back in a little bit.
yeah, and it's kind of like make the parting easier.
Yeah, like I'm just ready. I was like, they should have ended 10 seasons ago.
What, season 5?
Yeah.
When Sam went into the cage?
Eh. All right. Not. I'm sure I have a pinpointed. Hey, this is when they should have ended. That definitely wasn't it.
I think when Metatron came around. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't. I just. I don't want to see Marvel or the MCU falling to the way of just dragging it out, where it's like, just come on. And I
I
know that's been a big complaint in Hollywood recently, which I think a lot of people are
well,
just butt hurt because I don't know, their shit just isn't as popular. They're just tired of seeing like comic book movies. Uh,
well, the thing is like what we seem to have a lot of in the movie industry is we have a lot of people that want to make money but don't want to do the work on like the artistic creative part.
Right.
So that's why we're seeing a lot more remakes and reboots
Reboots.
and stuff like that instead of seeing like brand new material.
Right.
And uh that's that's just what happened.
Right. So I think I don't know. I guess that being said, between Star Wars and the MCU, like you said, when you see something that's that successful and this huge fan base, at least you're going to keep going with it instead of trying to make like quote unquote new material. Because why? I
Wait, the cow can still be milked. It's not dead. It ain't not dead yet. I feel happy. So yeah, I think I don't know. With uh, we didn't bring up the most recent Star Wars trilogy and the difference in directors and like I think
yeah.
their visions were like I don't know why they didn't just have J.J. Abrams do all three. Like I don't know if there was like a contract thing or like a difference of opinions or what the hell
Yeah.
happened, but they had I mean, I liked all of the new movies, but
Yeah.
I'm
I
easy to
liked
please.
the recent movies in comparison to the prequel, like the first set of the prequel stuff,
Oh yeah.
like significantly better. But
I just
I don't know.
there with I find it weird that with the difference in directors, there should mostly just be a difference in like yeah, in the storytelling meaning like how the film is shot
Right.
rather than literally tell
The story,
telling
the
of the
writing,
story. Like that
yeah,
should be like they should have just had one writer or whatever for all three or at least a team of writers instead of like it seemed they were like, "Oh my god, Ryan Johnson's Last Jedi was like shit compared to like J.J. Abrams movies and like his mystery box of whatever." I don't fucking know, but like it was so vastly different just like with the Harry Potter movies. They had Chris Columbus doing like the first two movies. Then they had oh my god, is it Alfonso Cuarón or
mm,
something like that?
fucking no.
It
Sure.
was the director of Y Tu Mama Tambien. So like it was a
Wow,
very
you made that up.
dark. No, no,
I
no.
know.
It's a very like just thematically, like how it was shot, like it's so completely different. Like how he had them dressed and everything was so
Yeah.
completely different. How he had them like presented was completely different than it was in the first two movies. And it was like that. I think should be like you should be able to tell that difference
Right.
when it comes to like directors. It shouldn't be like you could see visually the difference between the three, but there was also like storytelling differences. Like what is going on? Like why are the stories so they almost seem like disjointed between the three of them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could agree with that.
Still liked them, but it was like if you were to watch, you know, 7, 8, and 9 back to back to back, you'd be like, I'm not sure where this is going.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I liked them. I liked the most recent. Um, I know somebody like because Will's been asking like everybody that I know is did you see it? Like, what'd you think?
Yeah.
And I know somebody that he works with was just like, it was like Star Wars greatest hits. It was fucking stupid.
Well, that person leads a very unhappy life.
When he said that though, and like I don't necessarily agree with the statement, but I could kind of see where he was coming from though with it.
Whatever.
No,
I
I feel like you kind of do, and you just don't want to.
Well, you could say the same thing about fucking Force Awakens too.
Yeah.
Star Wars greatest hits. That was Abrams' thing.
Right.
Was just bringing everything back in to
But I think
the story.
Right. And I was going to say, I think there's a purpose to that. Like, I don't think they were just doing it just to bring in the nostalgia, and it's not really written into like the storyline or anything.
Well,
They're just doing it
I
just
agree.
because. I mean, I think when you're doing this type of series, and again, especially when there are so many gaps between each one,
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we need to like remind the audience of the importance of these characters and bring them back, and that they're still relevant and they're still a part of the story arc.
Yeah, like I don't like. I agree that I don't think he just brought them back just for shits and giggles. I don't think he just brought them back just to cash in on the nostalgia. That's not the case. But like,
so I am gonna say, and not that I wasn't excited to see him, but I kind of feel like Lando was thrown in there for that reason.
you know what? Maybe.
Yeah, so because what purpose did he really have
Who
in
would
that
have
fucking
flown
movie?
the ship that he flew during that
You
time?
can't. That is such a weak argument.
Because I only saw it once and I don't remember the ship or anything like that. But I feel like there was a reason that
it was
he
a
was there.
very, very loose reason.
It was convenient.
Yes. It was a very convenient, like they needed somebody to help them get out of whatever fucking planet they were on to find the map.
The
map
stuff.
thing. The Sith map.
Yes.
I don't remember what the fuck it was called. I'm sorry. And I know there's fans out there that are like,
the cipher?
I don't fucking know. It was the goddamn triangle thing that showed you where the
Vanscoy
Palpatine
diamond.
And now we know how Vanscoy has been around for so long.
Ha ha! Is that only a NEPA thing?
I think
Vanscoy
so.
Diamond?
Yeah.
Vanscoy the Diamond King?
He's the one for you.
Boom!
No, but he was conveniently there to help him get out of that situation. And that literally could have been any character. It could have been anybody. And they were just like, no, we got to bring back the last character in the original trilogy. Let's just fucking throw him in. Like, I feel like they could have done so much more with his character, and they just like dumped him in there.
Wasn't he also in the last original trilogy? The last movie of the original trilogy?
The first 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of mirrors.
No, because what I'm saying is his character was much more relevant in the first 3 when his character was introduced.
But he wasn't in all 3 movies.
No, but but he had a purpose. Like, there was more of a reason for him to be there. And this one, it was just like, we got to bring him back for nostalgia's sake. Like, let's just give him a couple scenes and just fucking dump him in there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're wrong.
You don't really have an argument as to why you think I'm wrong, though.
Well, who else would they show? Because it was also convenient that what's his face's old girlfriend with the eyes
Oh,
was on that planet with
she's a new character.
yeah, so
You fucking kidding me?
yeah.
I think you're missing the point.
I think you're missing the
Am
point.
I?
I don't know. What is it, Boba Freak?
What?
Frick? Boba Frick? The little alien
Oh,
guy.
oh, the little. Yeah, I don't remember. He was adorable though.
Something Frick. Boba Frick? Bubba Frick.
That maybe.
Bubba Frick.
I don't know. We're
We're
terrible fans.
sounding,
We're not really fans. No.
it sounds like we're not really fans, but we are. Star Wars.
We're lazy
It
fans,
sucks
which are the
that-
worst kind of fans.
Yeah. Boba Finn Poe, General Hux, Maz Kanata. That bit. Oh, that was Carrie Russell.
Huh?
The eyes.
Oh, okay.
That was Carrie Russell. Babu Frick. Babu Frick.
Babu Frick?
I was thinking almost along the lines of Boba Fett, but
I
it was
swear
not.
to God, for a second, that's what I thought you were trying to say, and I'm like, this bitch.
She's like, what did you put in that Red Bull? Guys, I'm sorry that this first episode back is so disjointed.
This is every
I
episode.
think you're not wrong.
No, all right, but to wrap it up though, loosely, because we neither one of
The
us
whole
really,
thing was loose.
yeah. Well, like neither one of us, I don't think really had too much of an argument between like which is better, because like you said, you can't really
Can't
compare the two. They're two different juggernauts or two different genres, technically.
Yeah.
But I think they're both relevant in different ways. Like you said, though, I think Star Wars fans are just the complete original content. I think is what makes it that much better.
Yeah. I think that's what gave it that lasting effect. And to be fair though, that's how the comics got to last as long as they have, because
Yeah.
when they were originally made,
Right.
they were original concepts. So
No, I just transferring over to movie world.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it had an original spin. It had an original vision
Mhm.
of where they wanted these characters to go. So for the most part, that could definitely be argued like a lot, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was just there was such a rich well that could be tapped, was the original Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah. Yep.
And it just so many different avenues, so many different characters and stories and galaxies and all this kind of shit, and just the stories of the Jedi and how they came about and blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
where are they now? What is it? MTV's Where Are They Now?
Yep.
Or is it VH1?
No, it was VH1.
VH1.
I miss that show. I'm not gonna lie.
That was a good show.
Sucked you right in.
Just old school VH1 and MTV in general were
So much better than the. I don't. Is VH1 even still on?
I have no idea. The last thing I remember watching on either channel was Pop-Up Video. Pop-Up Video.
Oh yeah.
That was where my love affair of learning about behind the scenes shit started, I think.
TLC and Celebrity Deathmatch. Prime TV was like my jam.
Oh yeah.
The celebrity houses, whatever the hell.
Oh,
Celebrity cribs.
Cribs.
Yeah.
I was also thinking of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
No, fuck that.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Always complaining.
Yeah, I know, because I'm a fucking creeper like that. Like I want to see where you live.
When you say it like that.
I know. Not like that. I'm just curious.
No. She means it like that. Fucking creep. But yeah, so I guess our whole topic can be boiled down to
They're both great and you can't compare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have no argument for either or.
Not really, but I can guarantee though, individuals who listen to this podcast, it's gonna make their heads explode.
Yeah, we probably, if
Like
we have,
we're gonna create marital arguments
I hope so. If we make you argue with your significant other,
or friends or like argue with us as you're listening to this. They're just, are you fucking kidding me? Because blah 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 blah. And this is better than that, or how the fuck can you? Wah!
yeah.
You're missing the point of whatever. Yeah, let us know.
Because we desire your feedback. Let us know what you think about the new setup, and
Yeah.
if you like seeing our faces, because
We're
I don't
going with
know.
that.
I don't know, just because I'm curious to see if they like our faces. Don't let me know if my buns are uneven.
Oh Jesus!
I'm
Nobody
pretty sure they
noticed.
are.
Now everyone's gonna notice.
Anyway, the next things we have like a series of topics that we're going to be talking about that have to do with social media and aspects thereof. The next one we're going to be talking about is censorship
Yes,
in social media.
I would say the biased censorship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of different like there's just a lot of bullshit with it. We'll get into it obviously more during that podcast, but we're gonna have a whole series of things having to do with social media because it's a big topic that you can't just tackle in one episode.
No. And at the same time with some of these topics, I don't think there's necessarily like a right or wrong answer to some of them or a solution, I should
Yeah,
say,
solution,
to
I
it.
think.
So it's definitely I would say like debate episodes. Kind of.
Whoa.
Maybe.
I think it's a good topic to generate more discussion.
Okay, yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of different sides to talk about when it comes to it. Like it's not cut and dry, it's not black and white. There's so many different aspects to it that
Yeah.
and it's not just it's literally every topic that we're going to talk about there's something to discuss, like so many different avenues to discuss.
Right.
So, stay tuned. We will see you in our next episode. And until then, we love you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.